I pulled the trigger on my best friend's career the second he handed me the pink slip. But not before I'd already rigged the entire data center to crash in exactly 9 minutes flat. Blood roared in my ears as I watched his smug face twist from triumph to confusion. The kind of confusion that hits when you realize the knife you just plunged into someone else's back is now lodged in your own gut. And yeah, I felt a flicker of that old loyalty die right there, because betrayal isn't just a word, it's the slow poison that turns brothers into ghosts. It started 6 months earlier, in the fluorescent hell of Apex Network's server farm buried under the Mission District in San Francisco. I'd been the invisible hero keeping that beast alive since college, back when Derek and I were broke-ass dreamers splitting ramen in a hate-Ashbury walk-up. We built this company from a garage hackathon joke into a multi-million-dollar beast handling trades for half the hedge funds on the West Coast. I was the wizard behind the curtain, patching exploits at 3 a.m., scripting firewalls that laughed at 0 days, making sure our quantum-encrypted ledgers never blinked. Derek? He was the silver-tongued shark, schmoozing VCs in Palo Alto boardrooms, flashing that Ivy League grin like it was forged in gold. We were unbreakable, or so I thought. "You're the brains, Jax," he'd say over IPAs at the Thirsty Whale, clapping my shoulder hard enough to bruise. "I'm just the mouth that gets us paid." I bought it. Hell, I lived it. When my mom OD'd on fentanyl in our shitty Fresno trailer when I was 17, Derek was the one who drove all night to bail me out of juvie after I smashed up the dealer's Beamer. He got me into Stanford on a forged rec letter, risked his own spot for it. Blood oath stuff. Brothers before everything. But Apex was bleeding cash by spring. Some ghost in the machine was siphoning trades, microfractions of pennies per transaction, untraceable at first glance. I spotted it during a routine audit, buried in the transaction logs like a rat in the walls. Not a hack from outsiders, no. This was insider work. Elegant and vicious. I spent weeks chasing shadows, pulling all-nighters with Red Bull for drips, while Derek jetted to Miami for investor retreats with bottle service models. "Find that leak, Jax," he'd text from his yacht selfies. "We're family. Fix it. And we're golden." I fixed it.
All right.
Trace the bleed to a backdoor script pinging an offshore Cayman account. The code was mine, my own damn signature, woven into the core kernel from our early days. But it had been twisted, augmented with a crypto tumbler I didn't write. Someone had hijacked my work, my trust, to line their pockets. I confronted Derek in his corner office overlooking the bay, the Golden Gate mocking me through the glass like a middle finger from God. "Dude, it's not," he started, but his eyes darted to his Rolex. And I knew. The account traces looped back to Shell Core under his ex-wife's maiden name. 20 mil skimmed. Clean as a whistle. He'd framed me from the jump, planting just enough breadcrumbs to make it look like I'd gone rogue.
Why?
Leverage. He needed an out from the board's scrutiny. A scapegoat to sell the security overhaul, narrative, and pocket a fat golden parachute. "You son of a bitch," I whispered, the room spinning like a bad sim. He didn't even flinch, just leaned back in his Herman Miller, steepled his fingers like we were discussing fantasy football. "Jax, it's business. You get too deep in the weeds. I see the big picture. This leak? It's you looking sloppy. Board wants heads. Yours rolls easy, mine? They need me for the IPO." His voice was silk over razor wire. That same tone he'd used to charm our first angel investor. "Take the fall, brother. I'll make it right. Severance, NDAs, a quiet landing at some startup in the valley.
Or,
We go nuclear. I walked out without a word, the weight of 9 years crashing down like a DDoS on my soul. That night, in my one bed in Oakland, staring at the BART tracks rattling like accusations, I cracked open the bourbon and plotted. Not rash, calculated. Revenge isn't a tantrum, it's a scalpel. I mirrored the servers, isolated the back door, and wove in my own venom, a cascading failure protocol. Time to detonate on command. 9 minutes to total blackout, enough for the trading floor to seize. Enough for the feds to swarm. But not enough for salvation if you're alone. The next morning, I strode into HQ like it was just another Tuesday, badge beeping me through the glass doors. Derek was in the war room with the execs, prepping the emergency board call. I slipped into the data center, the hum of racks like a lover's whisper. One last patch, arm the bomb. Then I hit his office, where he was monologuing into his webcam about streamlining operations. Jax? What the? I tossed the termination letter on his desk. The one HR had rushed at his say-so. Sign it yourself.
Derek. You're firing me.
His laugh was a bark. All teeth and no mirth. Kid, you're already done. Security's on their way. Get your shit, and I leaned in, close enough to smell his cologne, Aqua D whatever. The scent of betrayal.
TikTok.
Brother. Servers are glitchy. Real glitchy. You got 9 minutes before the whole grid fries. Alone. I slid the USB across dummy logs, clean as his conscience. Fix it, or watch the empire burn. His face drained to ash. That ivy polish cracking. What did you do?
What you taught me.
Survive. I turned for the door. The echo of my boots the last sound he'd hear from me for a while. But as the elevator dinged, guilt gnawed, a worm in the apple. Was this justice? Or just trading one monster for another? The doors closed, and I whispered to my reflection, fuck it. He started the fire. The fallout hit like a Bay Area fog, thick, unrelenting, swallowing everything in its path. By noon, news wires buzzed. Apex Network's trading halt, suspected insider sabotage. Derek's calls flooded my burner, voicemails laced with panic. Then rage. Then that oily plea. Jax. Man. Undo it. We're even. Please. I let them pile up, each one a brick in the wall between us. I holed up in a No Valley Airbnb, the kind with exposed brick and overpriced oat milk in the fridge. Plotting phase 2. Revenge isn't one swing, it's a combo. I'd leaked anonymized traces of his skim to a dark web forum, nothing prosecutable. Just enough to draw the sharks. By week 2, his Cayman shells were cracking under forensic audits from rival firms hungry for dirt. But Derek? He was a survivor. My dark mirror. He spun it masterfully, public mea culpa on CNBC. Tears in his eyes about a trusted colleague's lapse, positioning himself as the wounded hero. The board ate it up, suspended trading bot time, and his charisma sealed the IPO delay as prudent.
Me?
I was the ghost. Blacklisted in whispers from Sand Hill Road to the Presidio. No callbacks. No networks. Just the grind of gig economy scraps, freelance penteus for crypto bros who paid in Dogecoin. Nights blurred into code fever dreams, where Derek's face morphed into my mom's, accusing me of the same hunger that killed her. Was I any better? The betrayal cut deep because it echoed my own ghosts, the Fresno kid who hacked school grades not for fun, but to claw out of the dirt. Derek had been my ladder. Now he was the pit. Phase 2. Personal. I doxed his alibi. That Miami retreat was a weekend with Elena, his ex, the one who'd clawed half his assets in the divorce. Elena, who I'd met at our wedding, all sharp wit and sharper heels. She'd slipped me a tip once. Over too many Cosmos at the rehearsal. He's always skimming.
Jax.
Watch your back. I hadn't.
But now?
I forwarded her the full ledger, timestamps, transfers, the works. Her reply was a single emoji, fire. Derek's world unraveled thread by thread. Elena lawyered up for round 2, citing fraud. The board froze his equity. And me? I watched from the shadows, nursing a six-pack on my fire escape, the city lights winking like conspirators. But cracks formed in my armor too. A wrong number call from an old Apex intern. Jax. Is it true you tanked us? Derek says you're unhinged. Doubt slithered in. Had I overplayed? The 9-minute bomb was just the opener. The real payload was a worm I'd left dormant, set to exfil his private emails on a dead man's switch. One pull, and his dirtiest laundry affairs. Bribes. That time he paid off a regulator went viral. I hesitated, fingers hovering over enter. Loyalty's a bitch. It dies screaming. In the end, I hit send. The internet did the rest. The morning after the leak dropped, I woke to my phone exploding, notifications like shrapnel from a grenade I hadn't meant to throw. Derek's face was everywhere, bleary-eyed on TechCrunch. Apex CEO denies wrongdoing amid scandal. But the forums? They were a bonfire of vanities. My worm's harvest painting him as the devil in a Brooks Brothers suit. This guy's been grifting since Stanford, one thread starter posted, linking to a scanned expense report I'd accidentally attached, yacht charters billed as team buildings. I should have felt vindicated. That sweet rush of payback hitting like uncut coke. Instead, nausea churned, hot and sour. Coffee couldn't touch it. I puked it black into the sink, staring at my hollow eyes in the mirror. What now, hero? I muttered. The apartment felt like a cage. Walls closing in with the whine of the fridge and distant siren wails, San Francisco's lullaby for the damned. I needed air. Movement. Grabbed my jacket, the one with the frayed EMP patch from our first con, and hit the streets. The mission was alive in that gritty pulse, to carry us slinging carnitas to hungover coders. Murals of Aztec warriors flipping off gentrifiers. I walked aimlessly, past the old spot where Derek and I had crashed after a burner flight, dust-caked van, laughing till dawn about hacking the man. Ghosts everywhere. By Dolores Park, my burner buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ghosted it, but curiosity's a cruel mistress. Jax? It's Elena. We need to talk. Her voice was smoke and steel, unchanged from the divorce party where she'd toasted Derek with a mimosa laced with spite. We met at a dive off Valencia, neon open, sign flickering like a bad omen. Jukebox crooning Johnny Cash about walking the line. She slid into the booth, all Louboutins and Power Bob, nursing a neat scotch that screamed old money grudges. You did this, she said. Not a question. Her eyes, green as poison jade. Pin me. The files. The timing. Ballsy. I shrugged, signaling the bartender for a double. He earned it. You saw the numbers. She laughed, low and bitter. Earned?
Oh.
Honey, Derek earns what he takes. But you're the wild card. He always said you were loyal to a fault. Guess the fault one. We talked for hours. the scotch loosening tongues. Turns out, the skim was her idea, early days, when Apex was a spark and they were still playing house. Leverage for the divorce, she admitted, tracing the rim of her glass. But he twisted it, kept the tap running. Framed you to cover his ass when the heat came. She leaned in, breath warm with whiskey. I owe you.
Jax.
But this? It's just starting the avalanche. You sure you want under it? Her words hung like fog off the bay. I wasn't sure of shit anymore. That night, back in the Airbnb, I pored over the fallout. Apex stock cratered 40%. SEC filings due in 48 hours. Derek's LinkedIn was a graveyard, connections dropping like flies. But a buried post caught my eye, his private X account, @DerekUnchained, ranting in code about traitors in the ranks. A photo attached, grainy shot of me outside the data center. Timestamped the day I walked. He was hunting. Paranoia set in like a virus, rewriting my sleep into fragmented code. I swapped burners, routed my VPN through Tor nodes in Estonia. Gig work dried up. Even the crypto weasels ghosted after a whisper campaign. Broke. Buzzed on Adderall. I hit rock bottom in a Tenderloin SRO. Walls thin as regrets. Listening to hookers haggle and junkies cough up their souls. That's when the dream hit, or hallucination. Take your pick. Derek. Spectral in his college hoodie. Holding out a server rack like an offering. Fix it.
Jax.
We're family. I woke swinging. Fist connecting with drywall. Blood slick on knuckles. Dawn light slanted through grimy blinds, painting the room in accusation. Enough hiding. Time for Phase 3, the confrontation. I traced his bolt hole through Elena, a luxury pad in Pacific Heights. The kind with doormen who look like XSLS. Armed with nothing but spite and a cloned keycard I'd lifted from his desk that last day, I slipped in after midnight. The place reeked of excess. Marble counters. Abstract art that screamed, I bought this to seem deep, a wall of vintage whiskeys gathering dust. He was in the study, back to the door, hunched over a laptop like a man bargaining with fate. The glow lit his face gaunt, unshaven. The ivy polish flaked off like cheap chrome. I cleared my throat, soft as a shadow. Miss me? He spun, chair scraping like nails on chalkboard. No gun. No bluff, just raw fear flashing to fury. You crazy fuck. You tanked everything. I stepped closer. The room shrinking to us two. Oxygen thinning. You tanked me first. 20 mil.
Derek.
My code. Your greed. And for what? Another zero in the offshore? His laugh was hollow, echoing off the bookshelves lined with unread tomes. Survival.
Jax.
You think this game's fair? VCs eat their young. I did what I had to for us. You were collateral. Collateral? The word tasted like bile. I grabbed his collar, slamming him against the desk. Papers fluttered, divorce decrees, SEC subpoenas. A photo of us at 20, arms slung, grinning idiots. You framed me. Planted the back door on my watch. I took the heat, blackballed. Broke, while you yachted. He didn't fight back. Just met my eyes with that old fire. And now, do you think this fixes it? You're no better. A bitter sysadmin playing God with code. We're the same. Brother. Always were. The truth landed like a gut punch. Was he right? My hands shook, loosening grip. In that beat, He twisted free, lunging for a drawer, brass letter opener glinting like a shiv. I sidestepped, instinct kicking in from too many bar scraps in Fresno. We grappled, crashing into shelves, books avalanching like judgments. "You want the endgame?" he gasped, pinning me against the window overlooking the glittering city, Alcatraz a black scar in the dark. "Pull it." "But know this, the worm?" I mirrored it. "One click, and your dirt goes public too. That juvie hack on the school district? The fentanyl cover-up for your mom? All traceable to you now." My blood iced. He'd known always. Buried it like a favor, then weaponized it. The betrayal layered deeper, a Russian doll of deceit. I shoved him off, chest heaving. "You bastard." "Family," he corrected, straightening his shirt with trembling hands. "What now? Jax?
Kill me?
Or walk?" And we both burned slow. I walked. Dawn broke as I hit the street. Pacific Heights waking to its privileged yawn. No victory. Just the hollow echo of what we'd lost. But the fire? It simmered, waiting for fuel. Weeks blurred into a haze of evasion. Elena wired me hush money, 10 grand, for services rendered, enough for a fresh start in Reno or some godforsaken on the map. But I couldn't leave.
Not yet.
The SEC probe widened, snaring Apex suppliers. And Derek's name topped the subpoena list. Whispers in hacker chats, feds circling. Rico smells. I rented a beater Civic off Craigslist. Cash only. And tailed him from afar. He was unraveling, stubbled. Chain-smoking parliaments outside AA meetings he didn't need. Dodging process servers in his Tesla. One rainy night in the Castro, I watched him duck into a nondescript bar. The kind with rainbow flags and regret on tap.
Inside.
It was dim as a confessional. He was at the end of the bar, nursing a flat beer, staring into nothing. I slid onto the stool beside him, anonymous in a trucker cap and flannel. "Spare smoke, Chief," I rasped, voice pitched low. He handed one over without looking, Zippo flicking like muscle memory. We smoked in silence, the jukebox murmuring Springsteen about highways and ghosts. Finally, he broke. "You ever feel like you build a castle on sand, and one wave takes it all?" "Every damn day," I said, dropping the accent. His head snapped up, eyes widening in the neon glow.
Jax.
Jesus. He glanced for exits. But the bar was a tomb, patrons lost in their own wars. "Truce," I offered, clinking my untouched pint to his. "No knives. Just talk." He deflated, shoulders slumping like a punctured tire. "What do you want? Absolution? I don't have it." The skim. It started small. Elena's gambling debts. Then the high. Power. Jax. "You wouldn't get it. You're the fixer, not the player." "But I do get it," I shot back, the smoke burning my throat. Fresno taught me hunger. Mom's pills. Dad's ghost. I hacked to eat. You hacked to win. We talked till last call. Raw as open wounds. He confessed the frame, a junior dev he'd bribed to plant the code. NDAs thicker than his conscience. "Thought you'd bounce back. Sysadmins are cockroaches." His laugh choked. "But the worm? That was low. Even for you. Your mirror was lower." We eyed each other. Two predators circling the same kill. Truce held. Fragile as rice paper. As I left, rain sheeting the streets, he called after me. Jax, the board meeting tomorrow. They're voting dissolution. If I go down, it's all of us. The hook sank deep. Walk away. Or dive back in. Loyalty's ghost whispered. But revenge roared louder. The board meeting was set for 10 a.m. In Apex's rooftop conference room, glass walls framing the fog-shrouded skyline, a vista that once symbolized our conquest, now mocking our fall. I shouldn't have gone. Every fiber screamed extraction. Hop the Civic East. Vanish into the Nevada Badlands, where no one asks for resumes or regrets. But Derek's plea echoed, laced with that old bromance we couldn't quite kill. All of us, he'd said.
Us.
The word stuck like burrs. I crashed the feed instead, hijacking the AV system via a forgotten VLAN I'd left as a backdoor. Irony's gift. From a coffee shop in the Haight, MacBook balanced on knees sticky, with scone crumbs. I watched the suits file in VCs and Zegna, lawyers clutching iPads like shields. Derek at the head, tie crooked, eyes bloodshot from whatever demons chased him through the night. Gentleman and lady, he started, nodding to the sole woman, a sharp-elbowed partner from Kleiner Perkins. We've got a Category 5 here. The breach. The leaks, it's contained, but trust is the casualty. Murmurs rippled. A Shark Tank-smelling chum. The Kleiner rep, Annis Hargrove, leaned forward, her smile a scalpel. Contained? Your stock's in freefall.
Derek.
SEC's knocking. And that's a sadman of yours, Jax Harlan, he's gone dark. A coincidence. Derek's jaw ticked, but he played it cool. Sliding a deck across the table, my dummy logs, sanitized to paint him the White Knight. Harlan snapped. Personal demons. I had no choice but to let him go. But I've got a fix, full audit, white hat firm on retainer. We pivot to blockchain overhaul. Spin the narrative. I snorted into my latte, fingers itching on the keyboard. One command, and the projector glitches, flashes his private emails instead. Bribe the reg? Worth it for the IPO bump. The room froze. Gasps like punctured lungs. What the hell? Derek lunged for the remote, but Hargrove's already screenshotting. Her face thunder. Explain. Mr.
Reese. Now.
He stammered, sweat beading like dew on a corpse.
Glitch.
Sabotage, it's Harlan. I swear.
Lies.
All of it. But as the meeting devolved into chaos, fists on tables, ultimatums flying, I felt the twist of the knife I'd plunged myself. This wasn't just payback, it was demolition. Apex was our baby. Birthed in sweat and Red Bull. Killing it killed the kid in me who believed in bootstraps. I cut the feed, heart hammering, and bolted for the Civic. Rain lashed the windshield as I gunned south toward HQ, wipers slapping like accusations.
Why?
To stop it? Or to watch up close? The lobby was a ghost town, receptionists gone. Fluorescents buzzing over empty desks. Elevator to the roof. The doors parted on pandemonium. Derek paced, phone glued to ear, barking at PR spinners. The board had scattered. Hargrove's parting shot. We're pulling funding.
Clean house.
Or we bury you. He saw me. Froze mid-stride.
You.
This your masterpiece. I stepped out. Rain misting from the open sky lounge. City sprawl below like a circuit board fried. How to be sure you felt it? Felt it. He advanced. Voice cracking like thunder. You torched our legacy. Those VCs? They own half the valley. I'll be radioactive, you too? Once they connect dots. Let 'em. But my voice wavered. The high of vengeance souring to ash. We circled each other on the wet tiles. Wind whipping off the bay, carrying salt and regret. He stopped. Deflating.
Why?
Jax, we were kings. I fucked up greed.
Yeah. But you?
This is spite. You're becoming the monster you hate. Monster. The word echoed my mom's last slur. Sloshed from pills. You're just like your father. Jax, taking what's not yours. I'd built walls against that. Code as armor. But here, unmasked, it fit. Tell me why, I demanded. Rain soaking us through. The frame. The mirror on my dirt. Was it ever brotherhood? Or just a con? Derek wiped his face. Water mingling with tears or sweat. Hard to tell. Started real. Stanford. The garage. You were the only one who saw me. Not the trust fund poser. But power changes you. The skim? To keep us afloat when investments dried. Framing you.
Panic.
Thought-itted by time. Fix it quiet. Liar. I grabbed his lapels, shoving him toward the railing. Below, traffic snaked like veins. A jumper's drop away. You kept the tap open. 20 mil. For what? The yacht life. His eyes locked mine.
Raw.
For you, idiot. Half was earmarked offshore trust. In your name. Mom's medical. Juvie cleanup. Your kid if you ever settle. I was buying you out clean. The world tilted. A trust? In my name? Lies. Or the cruelest twist. Bullshit. Prove it. He fumbled his phone. Slick fingers pulling up a Cayman portal. Transfers. Yes. But nested under J. Harlan Legacy Fund. 15 mil untouched. Timestamps predating the frame.
See?
I was out. Selling you the fall as cover. But you walked too soon, left the patch half done. It spiraled. Doubt flooded. Cold as the downpour. Had I misread the code? My worm. His mirror. Mirrors reflect. Don't create. Nausea rose. I released him. Staggering back. You believe me? He pressed. Hope flickering like a dying bulb.
I
don't know. The admission burned. Vengeance's fog lifted, revealing the wreckage, not just his, but ours. The board's flight meant dissolution, jobs lost, dreams dust. And me, accomplice in my own delusion. Sirens wailed distant, closing in, SEC tip-off. Maybe. Or Hargrove's hounds. Derek straightened, resolve hardening. Then help me fix it. One last hack. Pull the emails. Blame Harlan solo. We reboot. Temptation coiled. Serpent sweet. Brotherhood reborn. Or fool me twice. The rain eased to drizzle. City lights blurring into halos. No, I said finally. Voice steady. You fix your mess. I'm done carrying. His face crumpled, betrayal's echo. Jax. I turned for the stairs, leaving him to the storm. But as doors clanged shut, guilt's hook yanked hard.
Down in the garage.
Engine rumbling. I idled. Walk. Or turn back. The choice hung. A binary fork. I chose the road less traveled, back to the fray. Back on the roof. Derek was on his knees. phone dead, staring at the horizon. "They're coming," he muttered as I approached. "Cops. Feds, whole circus." I hauled him up, brother to brother. "Then we run the play. But my terms, full truth to the board. No spins." He nodded.
Grim.
We patched the AV. Scripted a confession vid, him owning the skim. The frame. Painting me clean. Uploaded anonymous to the wires. Time to drop pre-dawn. As it went live, coffee steaming between us on the empty conference table. An uneasy peace settled. "Why?" he asked, echoing my earlier demand. "Because monsters don't fix alone." Dawn broke, painting the bay gold. A fragile truce in the ruins. But peace? Fleeting as fog. By noon, Hargrove called an emergency reconvene, Arvid the catalyst. Derek faced them, me ghosted in the feed, watching him bear it all. I embezzled. Framed my partner. But here's the pivot. Reinvest the recovered funds. Open source the ledger. Transparency or bust. The board balked. Then bent, Hargrove's eyes gleaming at the PR gold. Bold.
Risky. But
Viable. Funding thawed. Conditional on audits. We'd bought time. Derek texted later. "Oh, you." "Beers," I replied. 9 minutes. "Don't make me count." Laughter bubbled. Real for the first time in months. But shadows lingered. The trust fund, if true, a debt unpaid. And Elena? Her texts pinged. Heard the show. My cut. The game's never over, just new levels. The truce held for a fortnight. A sugar high after the crash. Apex clawed back. Stock ticking up on the confessional buzz. Headlines dubbing Derek the redeemed rogue. He played it like a pro. TEDx invites rolling in. Humility his new cologne.
me?
I slunk back as consultant. Off books. Ghosting the halls to tweak the ledgers. Seal the cracks. No badge. No fanfare, just code and quiet nods from the devs who knew the score. Nights. We'd hit the thirsty whale. IPAs flowing like old times. To second chances, he'd toast. Clinking bottles. That grin creeping back. I'd match it. But wariness lingered. A firewall against round 3. The trust fund nod too. I'd verified it. Cayman lawyers confirming the nest egg. 15 mil. Ironclad. For the Fresno kid, his note read. Gratitude warred with resentment. Gifts from thieves taste bitter. Elena circled like a hawk. Her cut demands escalating to veiled threats. That vid? My script.
Jax.
Don't forget. She'd lawyered up, filing civil suits that picked at Apex's scabs. Derek seethed over brunch burritos. Bitch'll bleed us dry. I stayed neutral, but her texts turned flirtatious. Emojis winking like lures. Lunch? My treat. Secrets over sushi. I bit. Met her at a Soma spot. All exposed brick and fusion rolls that cost a paycheck. She was lethal in silk, dissecting the menu like evidence. You saved his ass, she said, chopsticks poised. Why? Family, I echoed, the word tasting less like lie. She smirked.
Pouring sake.
Family's a scam. Derek's proof.
But you?
You're the wild card I bet on. Her foot brushed mine under the table. Accidental? Doubt it. Talk turned to her world. Post-divorce reinvention as a VC scout. Sniffing startups for blood. Need a tech whisper. You in. Temptation hummed. Legit gig. Clean slate. But her eyes held hooks. Revenge on Derek. Maybe. Using me as bait. I demurred. Sake warming the edges. Thinking solo. Solo's lonely, she purred. Slipping a card. Call when you're ready. Back at the Airbnb. HQ comped now. Perks of the prodigal I molded over. Code compiling in the background. Apex's overhaul was humming. Blockchain ledgers transparent as glass. My script's the spine. Derek looped me in deeper. Co-CTO, whispers floating. Stability beckoned. The valley's siren song. Then the glitch hit. Midnight audit. Routine sweep. And bam, phantom pings from the old backdoor. Dormant but stirring. Not my code. Not Derek's. Someone new. Probing weak spots. Heart rate spiked. I traced it to a VPN in Prague. Bouncing through proxies. Amateurs? No, too clean. Too targeted. I alerted Derek at dawn. Coffee shop stakeout. His face hardened over black brew. Ghosts. Hargrove's doing, pressuring for dirt to justify the bailout. Or Elena, I countered. She knows the seams. He waved it off. Ex-wife paranoia. Focus. Boards greenlit the open source drop. We're golden. But golden don't glitch. I doubled down. Hardening the perimeter, zero trust models. AI sentinels sniffing anomalies. Days blurred into debug marathons. Red Bull veins pulsing. Paranoia crept. Shadows in the rearview. Wrong number hangups. Was it the feds? Tying loose ends? Or Derek? Testing loyalty. The break came midweek. Server logs screaming intrusion. I isolated it. Sandboxed the payload. A wiper variant. Set to erase the blockchain proofs. Origin? Internal IP. Derek's office subnet. Coincidence? Bull. I confronted him in the war room. Post-shift quiet. Your bird.
Derek.
Or you flying it? He blinked. Feigning shock.
What?
Show me. I pulled the traces. Irrefutable. His eyes flicked guilt. Calculation? Jax. It's not Elena. She cloned my creds during the divorce. Payback. Likely story. Rage simmered. Old wounds reopening. Like the frame? The mirror? Trust me, he pleaded. Hand on shoulder. Too familiar. Too slick. We audit together.
Clear it.
Against gut. I nodded.
We dove in. Side by side.
The room thick with unspoken accusations. Hours in. Truth cracked open. Not Elena. But a bored plant. Hargrove's mole. A junior exec greenlit for oversight. They'd greenlit the probe to force a buyout cheap.
Derek laughed.
Manic. Bitches think they own us. We sealed it. Expelling the mole with a severance gag order. Bond reforged? Maybe. Beers that night tasted sweeter. But Elena's card burned in my wallet. I called. Lunch turned dinner. Sake to rooftops. Her laugh cutting the fog. Derek's using you again, she whispered over city lights. The trust?
Bait.
He's skimming anew microtrades. Your old code twisted. Proof? Screenshots. Timestamps matching our truce toasts. My world tilted anew. Betrayal sequel. Starring the same cast. I played dumb. Probing Derek next morning. Audits clean. Spotless. His grin. Easy. Too easy. That night. Alone. I mirrored his machine tit for tat. Files spilled, new shells. Fatter than before. 25 mil projected. And a kicker. Emails to Hargrove. Collusion veiled as strategic alignment. He was selling Apex out. Bored be damned. My redemption, just the smoke. Fury ignited.
Pure kerosene.
No more games. I armed the old bomb, upgraded. 9 minutes to systemic wipe. Exfil to public torrents. Set the trigger, his login. Tomorrow's board call. Sleep evaded. Ghosts wrestling in the dark. Elena texted. Ready to burn it? I replied. Watch. Dawn came bloody. Sky bruised purple. HQ thrummed with pre-meeting buzz. I ghosted the data center. Final tweaks, ensure he was alone. No overrides. Then to the shadows. Feed hijacked again. Derek entered the war room. Board assembling virtual. Agenda, expansion he launched. Charm dialed high. I hit enter. Alarms wailed soft in my cans, cascade initiating. His face shifted mid-sentence. Eyes darting to monitors. What the? Technical issue, he bullshitted.
But sweat beaded.
9 minutes ticked. 8:59. Trading feeds froze. Ledgers glitching. Board panic. Derek? Status. He bolted for the server access. Barking orders to empty halls. Dev sent home early. His call. Alone. As planned. I watched. Remote. Heart a war drum. Elena pinged. Now.
Wait.
Let him sweat. 6:32. He fumbled cables. Cursing my knot.
Untangle or die.
Hargrove's voice cut through. This is it. Reese. We're out. 4:15. Derek's breaths ragged on the mic I'd planted.
Jax.
If you're there. Help. Temptation clawed. Family or fraud? 102. Systems teetered. Exfil spooling his sins to the net. Midnight. Boom. Screens went black. Board feed cutting to static. Apex's digital heart flatlined. Derek's empire a smoldering crater. I logged off. Civic keys in hand. Freedom or fallout? The drive out was silent. Bay Bridge arching like a noose. Elena called. Beautiful. My jet. SFO.
Hour.
But as skyline shrank in the mirror, doubts swelled. Had I won? Or just orphaned myself again? The jet was a Gulfstream whisper. All leather and hush. Elena waiting with champagne flutes and a smile like sin. To ashes, she toasted as we taxied. The runway lights streaking into blurs. SFO fell away. City of betrayals shrinking to a glittering wound. Destination, her retreat in Aspen, cabins, not yachts, snow-capped anonymity over beachfront flash. Mid-flight, over the Rockies' jagged teeth. She debriefed like a general post-battle. Apex is done. Chapter 11 by sundown. Derek's radioactive. Feds'll collar him by week's end. Her fingers trace my knee. Casual possession. You?
Clean.
My firm's absorbing the tech, your scripts. Rebranded. 6 figures.
Equity.
Partner track. The offer landed soft. Velvet glove over iron. Legitimacy. The dream I'd coded toward since Fresno dial-ups. But her eyes held the transaction, body and soul. Or, at least the illusion. What's the catch? I asked, sipping the bubbly, dry as her laugh. No catch. Jax. Just evolution. Derek was yesterday, you're tomorrow. She leaned in, lips brushing ear. And tonight, we're celebrating. Aspen hit like a cold slap. Private airstrip. Black SUV to a lodge that screamed old oil money. Roaring fire. Bare rugs. Walls paneled in regret. Dinner was elk and whispers. Her stories weaving a tapestry of Derek's past. The charmer who wooed her at Yale. The thief who tallied her visa for leverage. You see him clear now, she said. Candlelight dancing on her wine glass. Don't romanticize. Bed followed. Inevitable as gravity, sheets like clouds. Her body a map of curves and claims. Passion? Sure. Fueled by adrenaline and anime. But as she slept, breath even against my chest, the high crashed. Who was the betrayer here? I torched my past for her present. A pawn promoted to Queen's Gambit. Dawn brought snow. Fat flakes muffling the world. I slipped out, boots crunching to the deck. Coffee steaming in the chill. Phone buzzed, burner.
Derek.
Voicemail. Voice wrecked. Jax. It's over. Feds at the door. But the trust transfer initiated.
Yours. And. Sorry.
For everything.
Click.
Tears froze on lashes. Sorry? Too late. Or just in time. Elena found me there. Robe loose. Handing a mug. Ghosts. Exorcism. I showed her the transfer alert. 15 mil. Liquidating to my accounts. Her brow arched. Impressed or irked. King's ransom. What's next? Your Highness. Next was the question gnawing since the wipe. Apex's corpse twitched in headlines. Insider sabotage sinks fintech darling. Fingers pointed me. Implied. Derek. Indicted. Elena's firm scooped the IP fire sale. My code the crown jewel. Irony. I'd built the bomb that funded her empire. We helicoptered to Denver that day. Meetings with her VC pack, suits fawning over the architect, code names veiling my infamy. I pitched firewalls like fortresses. They nodded like disciples. Offer formalized. CISO. Board seat. The works.
Sign.
And vanish into white-collar bliss. But Denver's underbelly called. A dive in Lodo. Neon billiards buzzing. I nursed a PBR. Cue chalking hands. When a face from the fog emerged. Tommy. Apex's old QA drone. Nursing bruises and a grudge. Jax Harlan? Holy shit. We shot pool till bar close. His story spilling like cheap beer. Derek pinned the mole on me, said I leaked to Hargrove. Fired. Blackballed.
But you.
You're the whisper. The wipe. Guilt spiked. Q clacking wide. Collateral.
Bull.
You and Derek, thick as thieves till you weren't. His eyes narrowed. Pint paused. Heard Elena's pulling strings. Careful.
Man.
She's poison ivy, climbs high. Leaves rash. Echoes of warnings ignored. Back at the hotel. Elena waited. Silk and suspicion. Networking? Old friend. Lie easy. Habit. She bought it. Or pretended. But sleep evaded. Tommy's words looped, mingling with Derek's apology. Dawn flight to SF. Her jet again. But tension crackled like static. Touchdown brought reality's bite. Warrants circulating. My face on low-res watch lists. Elena's driver detoured alleys. Dropping me at a safe house in the Excelsior, Victorian row house. Blinds drawn. Lay low, she instructed. Kiss lingering. Contract drafts incoming. Trust me.
Trust.
The joke landed flat. Alone. I cracked the laptop. Probing her firm's servers, curiosity. Or paranoia. Payloads dormant. But metadata sang my code.
Dissected.
Repackaged for a black budget client. DoD cutouts. Surveillance state. Elena's evolution? Weaponizing my work for Uncle Sam's shadows. Rage simmered anew, but tempered, no rash wipes. Instead, I burrowed deeper, mapping the web, her emails to Hargrove. Quid pro quos. Derek's indictment. Plea bargaining my name as co-conspirator. The noose tightened. Tripartite betrayal. Night fell. City humming beyond walls. I called Tommy. Burner to burner. Coffee. Now. We met at a 24-hour diner off Geneva. Fluorescent purgatory. Over eggs and hash. He laid cards. Underground network. Ex-Apex refugees gigging gray hat for cash. Off-grid.
Jax.
No Alenus. No directs. Just code and coin. Temptation pure. No empires. No strings, just survival's grind. But the trust fund loomed. A tether to legitimacy. Cash out. Or burn bridges. Decision crystallized over refills.
In.
Tommy grinned. Sliding a thumb drive. On-ramps to the shadow economy. Welcome to the real valley. Dawn saw me packing. Civic traded for a beater Tacoma. Bags light. Elena's texts pinged. Draft sent. Sign. I ghosted. Engine roaring south on 101. Sierra Nevada's beckoning. But karma's a bitch with GPS. Halfway to Reno. Taillights in the mirror, black SUV. Persistent. Heart jackhammered. I floored it. Weaving truckers. Dust devils rising. Off-ramp to backroads. Tires screaming gravel. They followed.
Closing.
Desert showdown. I bailed into scrub. .38 from Tommy's kit heavy in pocket Fresno habit. SUV skidded halt. Doors popping, 2 goons. Hargrove's muscle. Faces like chipped concrete. Harlan, step out. Easy. Go fuck yourselves. Standoff. Wind howling canyons. Lead goon smirked. Boss lady wants a chat. Elena's play.
Kid.
You in or out. Choice again, shoot.
Run.
Or fold. I lowered the piece. Hands up. Chat. They cuffed loose. Drive to a roadside motel, neon vacancy, winking irony. Hargrove waited in the office. Pantsuit crisp. Flanked by suits. Mr.
Harlan.
Sit. No preamble. Your code's gold, DoD bids through the roof. Elena's fencing it sloppy. Join us. Clean slate. Fat checks.
Or.
We tie you to Derek's mess. Your call. The web closed. Elena the fence. Hargrove the buyer. Me the mark. Betrayal's Hydra. Heads multiplying. I want Derek's head. I bargained. Bluffing steel. She laughed. Ice clinking glass.
Done.
Plea drops your name. Sign here. Pen hovered. Pulse thunder. Sign. And complicit. Walk. And hunted. The desert stretched endless. Freedom's tease. Fuck it. Ink bled. Deal sealed. Back on the road. Uncuffed. The Tacoma felt tainted. Tommy's network? Backup plan. But Hargrove's card burned. Powers allure. Venom sweet. SF loomed. Prodigal's return. Elena's safe house called. Confrontation brewing. Game on. Round 4. Elena's safe house was a fortress of faux normalcy. IKEA shelves stocked with takeout menus. A Keurig humming banal comfort. She greeted me at the door in yoga pants and suspicion. Arms crossing like bars. Ghosted me? Bad form. Jax. Needed air. I brushed past. Dropping bags. The .38 tucked in waistband a secret weight. Her eyes flicked to the bulge, nothing said. Drafts, she pressed. Pouring Pinot from a box that screamed domestic trap. Burned and lie smooth. Rehearsed. Your DOD play? Sloppy. Hargrove sniffing. Her laugh tinkled.
Forced.
Paranoid much? It's legit, cybersec contracts. Your future. I echoed. Sinking to the couch. Wine untouched. The room closed in. Air thick with her perfume, jasmine and deceit. She perched beside. Hand on thigh, proprietary. Yes. Apex was Derek's folly. This is us building. Trust the process.
Trust.
The word detonated. Shrapnel of all prior cuts. I pulled Hargrove's card, slapping it down. Process includes selling my soul to the bored bitch who tanked us? Elena's face drained. Mask slipping to calculation. You met her. Desert welcome wagon. I leaned in. Voice low thunder. Your fence op?
Exposed.
They want me leashed, or Derek's plea buries us both. She recoiled. Then rallied, eyes flashing green fire. Survival. Jax. Derek skimmed us dry. Hargrove's the exit ramp. You think I want this? Post-divorce. I'm scraping. This pays the yacht he kept. Victim play. Well worn. But crack showed. Her nails digging cushions. Voice pitching high. Join or get out. But out means hunted.
Hunted.
The word hung. A guillotine blade. I stood. Pacing to the window, Excelsior streets below. Sodium lamps pooling like blood.
No.
I ended. Her hand shot out. Grabbing wrist. And what? You're in too deep. Codes tagged.
Traces to you. Deep.
Like Fresno wells. Drowning slow. Then we drain it together. Full purge. Wipe the DOD bids. Torch Hargrove's leverage. Derek walks free. We vanish. Insane? Maybe. But the alternative, puppet strings, choked worse. Elena studied me, weighing. Then, slow smile. Partners?
Tentative.
I pulled her close. Kiss sealing the pact, fire and ice. Lust laced with lies. We schemed till midnight. Her access to the firm servers. My scripts as scalpels. Dawn raid. Virtual. From the safe house rig. VPNs layered like onion skins. Intrusion smooth. My wormskin slithering through firewalls. Elena fed creds. Breath held as we gutted the bids. Data shredded. Logs falsified to dead ends. Hargrove's alert hit at 0600, frantic email to Elena. What the fuck? DOD's pulling, explain. Elena replied cool. Glitch. Fixing. Then to me. Your move. I escalated. Anonymous drop to Reuters. Fintech scandal. Board collusion exposed. Attachments. Redacted Hargrove memos. Elena's fence logs scrubbed of my prints. The net ignited. Headlines howling by brunch. Derek called mid-chaos. Voice electric. Saw the drop. You're a ghost god. Feds backing off. Please solo now. Stay low, I warned. This ain't over. Elena's phone exploded. VC's raging. Hargrove, threatening suits. She paced. Feral. You burned it all. Our deal. I packed. Tacoma keys jingling. Vanishing starts now. She blocked the door. Eyes wild. With me.
Idiot.
Private island. Cayman. The trust seed money. Temptation purred. Her body the lure. But Tommy's warning echoed. Poison ivy. Solo, I said. Gentle push past. Jax. Hurt flashed. Real or theater?
Outside.
Engine growled. Excelsior fading. But mirrors lied again. SUV tailing. Hargrove's hounds. I lost them in alley weaves. Heart-pounding salsa. Reno by dusk. Tommy's network a motel off I-80, neon Motel 6 flickering welcome. He met me in the lot. Flannel and flask. Heard the news. You're viral, good viral. Need deep cover. We hold up. Plotting, fake IDs. Crypto wallets. Gigs in the dark web's bazaar. Penteists for cartels. 0 days to oligarchs.
Grimy.
But free. Weeks ground in. Code for cash. Nights in Fleabag rooms. Bourbon burning doubts. Elena pinged sporadic. Miss you. Hargrove's caged. We're clear. Attachments. Tickets to Belize. I deleted. Blocklist growing. Derek surfaced too. Clean shaven in a burner vid. Trust's yours. Start fresh. Brothers? I saved it. Unclicked. Then the hook yanked. Fresno callback. Aunt Rita. Mom's sister, dying. Lung cancer's claw. Jaxie?
Come home.
Debts piling. Home. The word poisoned. Trailer park ghosts rising. Trust fund could fix it medical. Funeral. The works. But dipping meant traces. Hargrove's radar pinging. I drove anyway. Tacoma eating miles. Sierra snow dusting hood. Fresno hit like flashback. Flatlands baked brown. Air thick with almond dust and despair. Aunt Rita's trailer sagged. Oxygen tanks hissing like serpents. Jaxie, she wheezed from the recliner. Eyes milky but sharp. Heard about your fancy life. Computers? Something. I fixed the AC. Stocked the fridge, prodigal practical.
Nights.
We talked. Mom's spiral. My jivvy scar. The hunger that birthed the hacker. Family's curse, she coughed. Don't let it claim you too. Claimed already? The drive back. Fund transfer queued. Anonymous wire to her account. Clean. Untraceable. But ripple spread. Elena's next text. Fresno?
Sloppy.
Hounds inbound. Paranoia peaked. Tommy pulled strings. Safe house swap to Tahoe. Cabin in pines. Winter locked us in. Blizzards burying roads. Gigs dried. Isolation bred cabin fever. Code turning confessional. Scripts journaling the betrayals. A digital diary of the damned. One storm-lashed night. Power flickered. Laptop glowing like Oracle. Intrusion alert. Probe from Elena's IP. Not casual, deep scan. Hunting ghosts. I countered. Trace reversing. Her face popped on screen. Hijack cam.
Tear-streaked.
Jax. Stop. Hargrove's got nothing. It's me. I need you. Need. Bitterness laced. For the next con?
No real.
Derek's out on bail. Gunning for us both. Says you stole the trust. lawyered up, painting you the thief. Twists knife again. Derek, redeemed? Or Hydra head regrowing? Why tell? Because I love, static cut. Feed dying in the gale. Love. Laughable. Or lure. Morning brought clarity. Arm the final bomb. Not servers, truth. Compile the diary. Anonymize. Seed to wikis. Forums. The net's memory. Derek's cons. Elena's fences. Hargrove's grabs. All laid bare. My role the neutral narrator. Upload queued. Finger hovering. Release. And scorched earth for all. Thunder rolled. Decision crashing like lightning. The upload initiated with a click that echoed like Judgment Day. Data packets flooding the ether. Wiki edits. Paste bins. Blockchain timestamps etching permanence. No dramatics. Just cold execution. Derek's ledgers cross-referenced with Elena's emails. Hargrove's memos time-stamped to bailouts. My diary framed it neutral, an insider's account, redacting names to initials. But the Valley's Kanasheni would decode fast. Catharsis? Or suicide note? Tahoe's storm broke by noon. Sun slicing clouds like a verdict. Tommy burst in. Snow-dusted. Eyes wide. You mad bastard. What did you drop? Truth serum. I brewed coffee. Hands steady for once. Let the chips fall. He paced the cabin. Logs crackling. Chips? This is thermite. Derek's bail revoked by tonight. Elena's firm's tanking audits. Hargrove? DOJ wet dream. Good. But the word hollowed. Fire's afterglow fading to embers. We'd built sandcastles. Now the tide owned them. Fallout cascaded swift. News feeds lit up. Fintech conspiracy. From skim to shadow ops. Fingerprints blurred. But whispers named us, me as the ghost coder. Mythic already. Tommy's network buzzed. Gigs pouring in. Outlaws Leoneizing the leak. But bounty hunters too. Hargrove's private eyes. Derek's desperation hires. Tahoe turned trap. We bailed midnight. Chains on tires. Snaking Donner Pass. Destination. Portland's undergrid. Hacker Haven in Pearl District's basements.
En route.
Elena's call breached the burner. Voice steel over sobs. You destroyed me.
Jax.
Firm's folding. I'm ruined. Collateral. I echoed her old line. Static crackled. Then, it was real. The island. The us. Before you torched it.
Real?
Ghosts don't haunt fakes. I hung up. Signal dying in pines. Portland welcomed grimy. Rain-slick streets. Brewpubs thick with IPAs and ideology. Tommy's Connect. A dreadlocked sysop named Kai. Housed us in a warehouse loft, servers humming like a hive. Walls tagged with manifestos. Leaks like yours? Fuel. Man.
Stay. Code.
Thrive. I did. Days bled into scripts. Open source tools for the oppressed. 0 days donated to activists. Nights. Philosophy over ping pong. Capital's curse. Code as rebellion. Tommy thrived. Gigging ransomware reversals, I healed. Scars fading to stories. But Derek's shadow loomed. Veiled jumpers don't fade. He surfaced in a grainy ex-post mustached. Holden Baja. Ranting framed by the machine. Bounty on my head. Metaphorical but metal-edged. Ghost owes me blood. Elena too, tabloid fodder. Heiress to hustle. From VC to vanished. Whispers. Fled to Europe. Lawyered in Luxembourg. Her last ping. Weeks post-leak. Forgive. Or finish. Finish. The word tempted. A siren's call to closure. Kai's crew ran traces, her in Berlin, slinging fintech cons to crypto exiles. Tempted to ghost. But unfinished symphonies sour. Spring thawed to summer. Portland's Rose Festival masking our exile. Aunt Rita's update. Stable. Thanks to the wire. Angel. Jaxie. Come visit. Fresno pulled. But freedom's illusion held. Then the hook. Hargrove's olive branch. Routed anonymous.
Truce. Meet.
Neutral ground, Vancouver. Your terms. Trap or exit. Tommy advised Bolt. Kai. Infiltrate. Guts said face it. End the cycle. Vancouver. Gray and drizzled. Neutral as advertised. Meet in Stanley Park. Totem poles watching like judges. Hargrove arrived solo. Trench coat and tablet. No goons. Harlan. Director. We walked paths lined with cedars. Rain pattering judgment. Your leak gutted 3 portfolios, she opened. Voice boardroom crisp. But exposed rot. DOJ commended, off record. Want out. Out's relative. I scan for tails. .38 ghosting hip. She stopped by a raven carving. Eyes appraising. Offer, pardon, relocation. Witness protection light, new ID. Clean slate. In exchange, testify. Derek's network. Elena's trails.
Testify.
Snitcha's crown. Judas coin. Why me? You're the fulcrum. Broke the wheel. Her smile.
Thin.
Or don't. But the machine grinds slow, your face on liss. Forever fugitive. Choices vice tightened. Freedom bought with betrayal's echo, ratting kin. Even fractured. And if I walk, hunted. But legend. She handed a burner. Number programmed. Think.
Call.
Back in Portland. Debate raged. Loft a war room of pros cons scrawled on white boards. Tommy, sellout. Kai, strategy.
Me,
sleepless. Diary's ghost whispering unresolved. Derek's next move forced hand. Raid on Kai's servers. Dawn's SWAT smash, feds. Tipped. We scattered. Me bolting to the Civic upgraded. Armored. Weaving freeways south. Casualty count. Tommy nicked. Kai's rig fried. Blame? Derek's desperation. Elena's spite. Or Hargrove's ploy. Lines blurred. Enemies amalgam. I called the burner from a payphone in Eugene. Voice box distorted.
Deal.
But full clean. Aunt Rita too. Done. Hargrove purred. Seattle. 48 hours. Welcome home. Home. The word mocked as I gunned for the border. 5 a vein to verdict. Seattle's handover was clinical. Nondescript office park. Agents in suits swapping dossiers for signatures. New name, Ethan Cole, sin fresh minted. Relo to Spokane. Inland Empire anonymity. Apple orchards over algorithms. Aunt Rita joined. Trailer traded for a bungalow. Medical covered. Her cough easing to chats over pie. New start. Jaxie, Ethan. Proud. Proud. Mirror showed a stranger, clean-shaven. Khakis. Job at a community college teaching cybersecurity basics. Mundane bliss. The grind's antithesis. But peace fractured fall. Derek captured in Tijuana. Extradited screaming innocence. Trial loomed. My testimony the hammer. Elena? Vanished trace. But a postcard arrived. Berlin cancel. Script elegant. Legends don't snitch. Burned you first, sorry. Love.
E. Love.
The twist that lingered. Debatable dagger. Court day dawned crisp. Spokane to SF Federal Courthouse, escorted. Anonymous in witness box. Derek shackled. Eyes locking mine. Betrayal's mirror. Final stare. Your Honor. I began. Voice steady. It started with code. The gavel fell weeks later. Derek. 15 to life. Hargrove. Fines and bars. Elena. Warrant open. Outside. Pacific wind fresh. Ethan Cole walked free. Victory? Or Pyrrhic? Aunt Rita waited. Arm linked. Home.
Yeah.
But as we drove east, the net's ghosts whispered, code never dies. Spokane settled like dust after a brawl, slow. Gritty. The kind of normal that itches if you've tasted chaos. The bungalow was a steel, two-bed craftsman. Yard with apple trees dropping fruit like forgotten promises. Aunt Rita puttering in herb beds. Her cough now a rarity. I, Ethan Cole, taught intro classes at the tech center. Wide-eyed freshman fumbling Python like I'd once fumbled trust. Code's power, I'd lecture. But wield it wrong. And it wields you. They nodded. Oblivious. I meant every syllable. Morning's ritual. Coffee black as regret. Scanning feeds on an air-gapped tablet. Derek's appeals grinding through circuits. Elena's warrant a cold case in Interpol's queue. The leak's legend grew. Podcasts dissecting the ghost's gospel. Hackers toasting my initials in darknet dens. Hero? Villain? The debate raged in comments. Lines drawn in binary sand. He gutted corruption versus vigilante virus. No due process. Guilt's tide ebbed. But never fully. Nights. I'd wake to phantom alarms. Servers humming in dreams. Derek's plea echoing. Family. Aunt Rita noticed. Pressing chamomile tea and tales of mom's wild youth. She chose wrong loves. Jaxie. You choose right.
Right.
The word anchored. Fragile. Gigs trickled. Consults for local banks. Ethical audits that paid instability. Tommy surfaced encrypted. Portland's mine. Miss the fire? Kai too. From a Thai exile. Teaching? Sellout or sage? Laughter in replies. Bonds forged in fallout. Summer swelled. Apples ripening to red accusations. A letter arrived. Postmark Vancouver, Hargrove's ghost. Or forgery. Unsealed. Elegant script. Ethan, the machine adapts. Your testimony sealed fates. But wheels turn. Offer stands. Consult. Off books. Power. Not penance.
Ush.
Temptation's whisper. Old itch. I burned it in the sink. Flames dancing blue. But ash lingered. Fall brought the twist. Fresno PD callback.
Routine but laced.
Mr.
Cole?
Rello from Harlan case. Your aunt's involved. Aunt Rita? Heart seized. Drive south. Tacoma devouring interstate. Dread co-pilot. Hospital confirmed. Collapse. Unrelated heart. Not cancer. But charts flagged. Anonymous donor trace pinged. Tying to the trust. Feds inquiring.
Sir.
Old embezzlement links. Derek's parting gift, the fund. Clean then. Now a beacon. I'd wired clean. But ripples reached. I sat vigil. Her hand frail in mine. Told you. Jaxie curse. Not yours. But as monitors beeped, resolve hardened. One last hack, from the hospital Wi-Fi. VPN'd deep. I unraveled the trace. Forged docs. Cayman redirects.
Pinning the ping to
Elena. Her. From Berlin shadows. One final con. Tipping feds to flush me. Claim the remnants? Or Hargrove's puppet. Rita stabilized. Transfer to Spokane ICU. Back north. Storm brewing. Agent knock at dusk. Badge gleaming. Mr. Cole? DOJ follow-up. Interview clipped. Questions probing the leak. The wipe. Elena's role. Collaborator they pressed. Ghost, I lied. Smooth. They left unsatisfied. But the net tightened. Surveillance van idling blocks away. Tommy's alert hit. Feds swarming. Elena sighted. Vancouver Airport. Hargrove meet. The Hydra reared. Heads uniting. No more running. Time to cauterize. I called Hargrove's line. Voice ice. Your play. End it. Her laugh. Boardroom velvet. Smart boy. Coordinates incoming. Neutral, again. Vancouver Redux. But winter now, snow veiling Stanley Park in white lies. Hargrove waited. Same trench. But Elena flanked, thinner. Haunted. Fur hood framing defiance. Ethan, she breathed. Step forward. Guards tensed. My .38 mirrored on hips. Ghost, I corrected. Hargrove mediated. Tablet truce. Facts. Elena tipped the fun trace. DOJ bait to draw you. My sanction. For leverage. But your leak? Balance scales. Walk free. All sins forgiven.
or
We litigate eternity. Elena's eyes pleaded. I panicked. Derek's appeals named me. You were safe. Thought it'd force your hand. Us. Together. Together? Bitterness surged. You fence my code. Torched my name. For us. Tears froze on cheeks. Love's messy.
Jax. You taught me that. Love.
The debatable dagger plunged deep, real enough to wound, false enough to bleed. Hargrove watched, amused. Sentiment or settlement? Choice's precipice. Forgive. Fold into their web, consultant king. Strings gold-plated. Or torch final. I stepped to Elena. Breath clouds mingling. One truth, the island. Real? She nodded. Shattered. Always. Then go. To Hargrove. Pardons for 3. No tales. Done. Tablet clicked. Files vanishing. We parted in snow hush, Elena vanishing into white. A ghost twice over. Hargrove's SUV purred away. Machine sated. Back in Spokane. Rita mending. I burned the .38 in the yard. Apples crunching underfoot. Feeds quieted. Derek's appeal denied. Life without. Elena's warrant quashed. Relocated. Hargrove promoted. Scandals spun to triumphs.
Me?
Ethan Cole taught on. But nights. I coded private. A final script. Buried deep. 9-minute failsafe. Should the machine hunger again? Not revenge, but readiness. Aunt Rita passed spring. Peaceful, pie on the sill. Her laugh the last echo. I scattered ashes in Fresno orchards. Wind carrying to the stars. Summer solstice. Portland visit. Tommy and Kai. Brews flowing. Legend, they toasted. Survivor, I countered. The debate rages online still. Heroes fall or villains rise. Right or wrong. No absolutes. Just the gray code of choices. As for me, in Spokane's quiet, I log off, apple in hand, sweet, unpoisoned. The servers hum distant. 9 minutes of memory. But if the call comes, I'll answer. Family's curse. Or hacker's creed. Fade to black.